In the quiet heart of Paris, where midnight rain glimmers softly against cobblestone streets and warm bakery windows glow beneath the fading stars, a man named Pierre Hermé spent his life building an empire from sweetness, memory, and longing. Long after the city had fallen silent, when cafés emptied and the final trains disappeared into the dark, there remained one small world still awake beneath the soft hum of ovens and the scent of melting chocolate. Inside those dimly lit kitchens, Pierre Hermé moved carefully through shadows and warm light, searching not merely for flavor, but for emotion itself. Tonight, let the fire beside you flicker gently. Let the noise of the day loosen its grip on your thoughts. And as sleep slowly approaches, walk quietly into the life of a man who transformed desserts into dreams, and sweetness into something far deeper than pleasure alone. From an early age, Pierre understood that taste carried memory. Before he ever became celebrated across the world, before magazines praised his imagination and customers lined the streets outside his boutiques, he was simply a quiet child fascinated by the strange emotional power hidden inside ordinary ingredients. Sugar was never just sugar to him. Chocolate was never simply bitter or sweet. Every flavor seemed to hold a hidden story waiting patiently to be uncovered. While others followed strict traditions, Pierre found himself drawn toward combinations that felt almost impossible. Rose and raspberry. Lychee and cream. Passion fruit folded carefully into delicate layers of chocolate. He wanted flavors to surprise people the way music surprises the heart, arriving softly before suddenly overwhelming the senses with emotion. But innovation is often born from solitude. Many of his early experiments failed. Some collapsed entirely before reaching completion. Certain combinations tasted unbalanced or strange. Yet Pierre continued searching endlessly, not because he wanted fame, but because he believed there were feelings human language could not fully express, feelings that only flavor could gently reveal. Late at night, while Paris slept beneath silver rain and distant street lamps, he remained awake beside trays of pastries cooling slowly beneath warm kitchen light. He adjusted recipes by fractions so small others would never notice. A few seconds too long in the oven changed everything. A slight difference in texture altered the emotional experience entirely. To most people, these details seemed insignificant. To Pierre, they were sacred. Because he was not simply creating desserts. He was trying to create moments people would remember forever. As the years passed, his creations began reshaping the world of modern pastry. The famous macarons filled with unexpected flavors became symbols of elegance and imagination. Critics praised his boldness. Customers traveled across continents just to experience the strange harmony hidden inside his desserts. Soon, people began calling him the Picasso of pastry. But titles rarely capture the loneliness hidden beneath greatness. The more admired he became, the more isolated his inner world often felt. While others tasted sweetness, Pierre himself remained haunted by the endless pursuit of perfection. There was always another texture to refine, another balance to uncover, another fleeting emotional note just beyond his reach. Perfection, after all, is a horizon that moves farther away the closer you approach it. And yet he continued. Night after night. Season after season. In quiet kitchens filled with the scent of butter and vanilla, he searched for something invisible hidden beneath the craft itself. Sometimes he wondered whether he was truly creating desserts, or merely trying to preserve fleeting moments before they disappeared forever. Because sweetness itself is temporary. A pastry melts. Chocolate softens. Fruit fades with the season. Even the most perfect dessert survives only a few delicate moments before vanishing completely. Perhaps that impermanence was what fascinated him most. Pierre often returned to the simplest rituals even after achieving worldwide success. After grand events and elegant presentations attended by critics and celebrities, he would still stand alone in silent kitchens late at night, carefully breaking apart cocoa beans with his hands just to breathe in their raw fragrance. In those moments, removed from applause and expectation, he seemed less like a world-famous chef and more like a quiet artist searching for calm within the chaos of creation. Over time, his approach began to change. The bold complexity that once defined his work slowly softened into something gentler and deeper. He no longer felt the need to overwhelm people with dramatic contrasts. Instead, he became fascinated by restraint, simplicity, and silence within flavor. He discovered that the greatest experiences often arrived quietly. A delicate cream infused with vanilla. A soft layer of citrus lingering briefly at the edge of sweetness. A texture so light it almost disappeared against the tongue. These subtleties required patience, humility, and trust in time itself. And perhaps age had taught him those things. As dawn approached each morning, Pierre still woke early to check dough quietly rising in the kitchen. There was something comforting about that process. Fermentation could not be rushed. Ingredients transformed slowly, invisibly, almost magically. The world outside might demand speed and constant movement, but inside the bakery, time still obeyed older rules. That rhythm soothed him. The repetition of careful movements. The warmth of ovens before sunrise. The scent of caramel drifting gently through empty rooms. These small rituals became anchors in his life, reminders that beauty did not always need to shout in order to exist. Students who trained beneath him often noticed the unusual tenderness hidden beneath his precision. He taught them to respect ingredients as living things carrying stories of soil, weather, and human hands. Flour, fruit, sugar, cream, none of them were ordinary to him. Everything deserved attention. Everything deserved care. And slowly, through years of devotion, Pierre found a kind of peace hidden inside the very details that once exhausted him. Not the peace of completion, but the peace of acceptance. The understanding that beauty could never be fully possessed, only experienced briefly before dissolving like sweetness on the tongue. Tonight, as the fire beside you burns lower and softer, let his story settle gently around your thoughts like warm pastry scent drifting through a sleeping city. You do not need to perfect every part of your life. You do not need to carry every burden alone. Sometimes softness is enough. Sometimes beauty exists simply in the quiet act of caring deeply for something small. A warm kitchen. A shared dessert. A peaceful evening. The gentle comfort of knowing that even fleeting moments can still leave lasting warmth behind. And now the night grows deeper. Paris has fallen silent beneath the stars. Somewhere far away, hidden among narrow streets glowing faintly beneath old lantern light, an oven still radiates quiet warmth into the darkness. The scent of cocoa and rose lingers softly in the air. And with it, the final traces of a dream carefully folded into sweetness, waiting patiently to carry weary souls into rest.